more than just an outlet for expression. Art affects people's social and psychological well-being. You can convey your thoughts, feelings, and emotions through art in ways that aren't always possible through words or actions. Art movements have often played important roles in social changes, and art often leads to changes in thinking or political leanings. Take the High Renaissance, for example. This style of painting and sculpture was based on the focus of nature and individualism, the idea of men as independent. These ideals flourished in the 15th and 16th century and reflected social and economic changes like secularization. A community's quality of life can be enhanced through art and culture. It can result in personal enjoyment, education, and involvement of the general public. In today's economy, having a clearly designated arts and cultural district is essential. Local artists take on an important role in our society. Ashley Bilodeau is a local artist on Cape Cod, as well as the founder and owner of All Points Beautiful Boutique in Chatham. Ashley's storefront on Main Street serves as a fine art gallery for her photography collections.
So, my role in society is to capture the moment as it is in its perfect timing, because it wouldn't be happening if it wasn't perfect. It's kind of the backbone to all of my work. I'm a natural light photographer here on the Cape, and so I can't make up the wave that I shot, right? It happened. I can't make up the sunset or the sunrise. These are colors that are naturally forming, and all I want to do is show you how beautiful the natural world is as it is. And if I can do that, then hopefully I can illuminate something that's happening inside of you. Maybe you can't express yourself with artwork, but maybe there's something else going on in your life that you can't really come up with the words to say. But if it's happening to evolve our soul, and it's going to show us something that we wouldn't learn about ourselves if we hadn't been experiencing it. So when I go out and I shoot, I'm just trying to show you how perfect it is as it is. And when you come into the gallery, I try to express that when you're looking at the photos. Art is important because I feel like it can draw attention to either serious or not so serious moments. It can kind of portray things that can't be said with words, which is why I think it hits people in their gut sometimes, because sometimes words are like a man-made object, whereas art is something that kind of comes from the soul that can't kind of be distinguished with words. That's why we have to look at it, or we have to experience it. What does it mean to me? It means that it's a freedom of expression, and it means that you can express yourself no matter how you do it, whether it's via moving your body or taking a photograph or painting something. It illuminates expression. Art impacts community because it can pull people together that might not normally be together. It can draw from any walk of life because, again, it's that understated thing from the soul that can't be communicated with words. And so no matter who you are, education level, it can take everybody, and everybody can have the same or very different experience with it. I love photography because it doesn't need words to express it. It is what it is. I'm not making up something. It's exactly as it was, and it's perfect timing.
Now we know art is universal and a language on its own. Despite the fact that we all speak different languages, a picture can evoke emotions in each of us. Not only is art comprehensive, but it's also beneficial to one's mental health. It reduces stress and promotes relaxation by providing your brain with a creative and therapeutic distraction. Art is so well at doing that art therapy is a technique used by therapists to assist patients in interpreting, expressing, and resolving their emotions and thoughts. Art is all around us, and most people recognize its charm and appreciate the effort and dedication required to create magnificent works of art. However, it's more rare to see people supporting their local artists. People are often confused about how to support local art and believe that the only way is to buy their paintings. Local artists are so much more than people who paint pretty artworks for your community. For many, it's a true passion where they want their communities to thrive and become a better place to live. Artists are driven by their passion and use it to create art. Local artists, on the other hand, strengthen the community by changing mindsets and norms. Lauren D. Ferdinando is a local artist known for her paintings involving glass and water. Currently, Lauren's entire collection of original pieces is showing exclusively in her own gallery, the Nines Art Gallery in Harwichport. Luther Bates is another member of the Nines and has his photography on display there.
I think local artists who have a history in a place, especially over years or growing up, have a unique experience throughout their life, and a lot of times that's reflected in their artwork. They've seen things for years, they've experienced the beauty of the area, they've been to places in the area that maybe not everybody has seen, and they've had time to reflect and consider and really turn that into something that they can share with other people. It's important to have the fabric of the community to be thick and broad and expansive, and art does things to people that other industries don't. It makes people happy. It brings out emotion in people. It really, you see people come in and look at art and they're transformed to a different place or a different time in their own life, and that's not something that a lot of other industry has the ability to do. And being a part of a community, it enhances that, and it enhances the component of being a part of a community that has a width and a breadth that makes it more unique and wholesome and more fulfilling experience.
Now that we know why local artists are so important, it's time to take a deep dive into the process of creating these designs.
So when I started painting glass, part of it was that I wanted something really unique that was different and challenging, and part of the reason was that I wanted a beautiful view that I didn't have of the water. So I love how you can see through the glass, see the water in the background and the sky, and it sort of creates a window. When I lived in Philadelphia after college, I didn't have a beautiful view of anything, so I wanted to provide a window for myself. And now I feel like I can give that to other people and just make them happy with something that they can stare at and sort of gaze at and sort of create their own view from their home every day. Because I think that your environment that you live in is so important to your state of mind and your happiness and your peace in your everyday life.
What an interesting look on the art. Now I'm interested in what other artists have to say about the community. Now our next stop is Chatham Pottery. Margaret is a skillful potter. She is the founder and owner of Chatham Pottery as well as an important local artist here on the Cape.
Well, this kind of pottery I find is important because it's utilitarian, which is it's useful as well as beautiful, and it's made to be used. And it's an ancient art that was made to be used and fulfill a need. A lot of steps and a lot of different ways to make pottery. But the basic steps are that you make it, it's kind of, clay is a mud, really, a natural mud. You make it into a shape, has to dry, then you have to fire it in a kiln at a certain temperature, depending what kind of clay is how high you fire it. And then you glaze it. It's left porous so you can glaze it. And then it goes back in the fire and turns into a piece of glazed, useful pottery. To do the glaze like that, it has to be dipped in 3 different glazes at different levels, and so that when the fire hits it, because glaze is just a glass, when the fire hits it and melts it, it'll melt into the correct pattern in those layers and make it look like sea foam.
Margaret and Lauren gave us a better understanding on the process of creating art. But there is more to art than just creating. Once it becomes bigger than a hobby and shapes into a business, there is inevitably going to be challenges that one faces. I asked some of the artists in our community what challenges face the local artists.
As a photographer, what do I struggle with the most? Well, I have to be in the mood to want to take a photograph. I don't want to be in a heightened state or like a one way or the other, happy, sad, angry. I kind of have to find that medium where I'm just present, because if I'm any of the other things or if I'm expecting to get something, sometimes I'll go down to the water and there'll be these beautiful waves that we have here on the Cape, and I'll be expecting to get this perfect shot, and if I expect the shot, then I'm usually never going to get it. But if I go out with 0 expectation, then usually I can get something really great.
Sometimes I feel like I really want to keep challenging myself. I get a little bit comfortable doing certain subject matters like the glass and the ocean, but then I always find a way to bring it to a different level. Like I just recently added in the sunset background with the glass, so that palette was different for me, more difficult. My biggest struggle right now is having a 1-year-old and trying to paint as much as I'd like to, because I remember painting as many hours as I wanted a day, and as much as I felt like and whenever I was super inspired, and now it's sort of based around his schedule a little bit more, which is difficult, but figuring it out. So it was very scary at first when the pandemic started. We didn't know if people would be interested in buying art when everything was so scary and different and changing. And then a couple weeks after that feeling, we started getting emails from people that wanted art for their Zoom background because people were staying home working, and everybody started looking around their home and wondering how to make it a more peaceful, fun place for themselves since they were sort of stuck there. And we ended up getting very busy actually and having probably the busiest year or two we've ever had because of COVID.
Getting to know our local artists, their processes, and their struggles were steps leading up to the bigger question: why should people support local artists? Here's what the artists in our community had to say.
Why should people support local artists? I think people, okay, so local artists is wonderful, right? So I have clients all over the country and whatever. I think local artists, I think being an artist in general is so important. Local artists more so because we are an undercurrent in the community. You know, I don't go out and tell all my friends that I'm an artist, right? It's like this, almost this like hidden part of my life that, you know, is almost found by the person that walks into the gallery or visits my Instagram or goes on my website, right? It's like almost like a pillar in the community that kind of livens the energy, and it brings people into these little crevices in the community that wouldn't exist. Especially when people, you know, we live in a really small community here on the Cape, and so, you know, it's like when people go out and find themselves and they come back, and then they bring that little bit of wisdom that they brought, and they rebuild community as well. So I find that to be what makes this thriving local artist community here, is because we all have that tale of sorts, you know, where we are bringing something that wouldn't naturally be here, or maybe moving in, and then you become a local artist, right? And so you're bringing this talent forward to lift up this community.
I think that local art brings, like I said earlier, it sort of reflects the community, and I think it makes people happy, and it gives people a place to go visit in a place that they love.
What are some other ways you can support local artists? Share their work online. Social media can be a great tool for local businesses and artists. It is now where loads of advertising takes place. So if you come across any local art that touches your heart, share it online. Be more active in local events. Local events are important, whether it's a gallery show, a cultural event, a concert by a local musician, or a fair. Make sure you're present for the events that interest you. If an event does not draw enough people, it will most likely be canceled the following year, so it's important that you attend. Shop locally. Do you need to renovate your home or redo your office? Do you have to give someone something special? Consider local art first. Many local artists will be thrilled to create something unique and personalized for you. Instead of buying generic gifts and paintings, contact local artists in your area and ask if they can create something special for you. As a community, it's important to support local artists because without local citizen support, the art they make would cease to make the impact it could. When you support the local artist community, you're supporting all respective creative freedom. Once artists are able to express themselves creatively and freely, beautiful art is made that can be admired by the community and the world. These pieces not only reflect the artist's ideas, but also their hidden messages behind each work of art.